Good day. I am Vernon Darby, and this is Back the Truth News and the Commentary. There has been a lot of heated discussion about JPSCo and the high electricity bills for July to August 2024. It's important to remember that we've seen this outcry over high JPSCo bills before, most notably during the COVID-19 pandemic. Many commentators were quick to join the chorus, accusing JPSCo of raising their rates without notifying anyone. First, it's essential to understand that JPSCo does not set its own rates. These are approved by the OUR, a government entity. I recall explaining on air that with more people staying at home during the pandemic, electricity consumption increased. As a result, more households consumed over 100 kilowatt hours per month, which is the threshold for a lower rate. And some even exceeded the 150 kilowatt hours per month, which is the threshold at which GCT becomes payable. At the time, the government investigated the issue, but to my knowledge, nothing came out of it. The complex system used to calculate consumer bills often creates confusion, and I believe very few people try to fully understand these bills. Let's first take a look at the JPSCo bill. Those with a knack for mathematical things might be able to decipher it better than the rest of us.
Let's now take a look at our JPSCo bill and get to understand it some more. Now, in this area, you'll have your account number. And you should make a note of that and know your account number. And here you have your customer name and also the address, the service address. This is where you use the JPSCo service. And you have the invoice date, the total for the bill, and when it is to be paid by. This is very important. Now let's go down and take a look at the billing period. It says 31 days, and it tells you what period you're being billed for. You move across and it says reading type. This has actual. Actual means that your meter was read and the kilowatt hours used will be what you actually used. If it was not read, it would say estimated. It tells you the date read and also the previous reading, which says 9,030.18 kilowatt hours, and the current reading is 9,166.98 kilowatt hours. Of course, you take away your previous reading from your current reading and you will arrive at your energy used for this period, which is 136.8 used to bill you. You go down further and it states here now in this row here how your bill is calculated. It tells you the balance which was brought forward, and that is supposed to be the same as the balance brought forward up here. Then it says energy first for up to 100 kilowatt hours, and it tells you the rate. You'll notice the rate here is $8.31. So this is the rate used for the first 100 kilowatt hours. Then it says energy next. That's the energy used after the 100 kilowatt hours, and it tells you the rate, which is $23.86 per kilowatt hour. So you notice when you go over 100 kilowatt hours, the rate has moved from $8.31 per kilowatt hour to $23.86 per kilowatt hour. So it's almost 3 times the amount. Then it gives you for Variable charges, the fuel charge. And this is something to watch because this will change from month to month. In this month it says $24.335 per kilowatt hour. It then tells you the IPP variable charge. That's the independent power providers. Theirs is $11.63 per kilowatt hour. Then you have down here the foreign exchange adjustment, and it tells you how much it's adjusted by, and you see the amount here. It then tells you the total electricity charges, which is this amount. Then it goes down further, it tells you your non-taxable portion of bill. It means therefore, if you use below 150 kilowatt hours, that is non-taxable. But if you go above that, that is now taxable. And that is something to note. And that is why you'll notice that your bill sometimes will increase significantly if you go over the threshold, which is 100 kilowatt hours. But if you now also go over 150, you'll also be taxed. Then it goes to other here, and it tells you general consumption tax, which you have to pay, and if you have any late payment fee. This part of your bill is something that you must look at very carefully. But what you must note, just don't look at how much you are paying. Of course, this amount includes an outstanding amount. But you are told the current charge, which is $7,535.57. Normally we look at the amount charged and we say, but we haven't used any more current this month. What you need to look at is your actual energy used, the kilowatt hours used. So it is possible that you have used less kilowatt hours, but other charges have gone up. Your fuel charge has gone up, the IPP charge has gone up, your foreign exchange adjustment has added other charges. So even although you have used less electricity, your charge for the month or your current charge could be more. So if you want to know whether you're using less electricity or not, what you must look at is your kilowatt hours used, your energy used for the month. Now if your energy used has increased and you go over the threshold of 100 kilowatt hours for the month, then you know that your electricity is going to jump significantly, because the moment you go over, your cost per kilowatt hour will increase.
This complicated looking bill reminds me of the NWC bills. We need a simpler billing system to reduce confusion and stress among us as consumers. I propose that the OUR adjusts the threshold for the low kilowatt hours rate from 100 kilowatt hours to 150 kilowatt hours. This adjustment would help low-income individuals to afford up to 150 kilowatt hours per month. The next step for the government is working in collaboration with JPSCo. They should ensure that all Jamaicans pay for the electricity that they use. This strategy could be implemented gradually over a 5-year period. Reducing electricity theft, often referred to as non-technical losses, would alleviate the financial burden on honest JPSCo customers. By working with economists and other experts, the OUR could project production costs for the next year or two. Electricity rates would then be set to cover these costs, with a markup to account for expected returns and to build up an electricity cost stabilization fund. This fund would help to mitigate any fluctuations in JPSCo costs. Since our fixed, our utility bills should not fluctuate dramatically, as this creates stress for our people. Let's focus on fixing the system instead of playing the blame game. Additionally, the government should consider an agreement with JPSCo to offer at least 30% of the shares to consumers, ultimately aiming for consumer ownership of the company. When we speak again, I will share more ideas on how we can lower electricity costs for consumers. This has been Back the Truth News and Commentary. Thank you for listening. Please add your comments to the blog, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Back the Truth blog. I am Vernon Darby, and I appreciate your support of the People's Movement. Vernon Darby saying to you once again, I love you. Walk good, my friend.